Hi there, I'm Karen Owoc, and welcome to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. Here at Toastmaster Time, we run our show just like a regular Toastmaster Club meeting. We have guest speakers and an evaluator. And with me tonight is our own Toastmaster Time evaluator. Please help me welcome Trich Gray. Welcome, Trich. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect to see in here tonight.
Oh, this is going to be a great show. I think we're going to have some fun tonight. We have two experienced speakers. One is going to entertain us. The other one is going to give us some tips on how to add vocal variety to our speeches. So grab the popcorn, sit back, relax, and prepare to have some fun.
Well, I know we're going to have some fun tonight, and it's going to be great working with you again, Trish. I'd like to present our first guest. She's from the Lakeview Toastmasters Club in Oakland, California. Please help me welcome Sharon Brown. Welcome, Sharon.
Hi, Trish. How are you?
I'm Karen.
Karen, sorry.
That's okay. You've been a Toastmaster since 2006.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about why you joined Toastmasters in the first place.
I joined Toastmasters because I wanted to put myself out there a little bit, get outside the comfort zone. I'm going to be speaking in front of people, and the idea of being a little more articulate, getting my point across without rambling, I think that was my biggest thing. I felt Toastmasters has helped me in that regard.
So did it help you with your work and your presentations?
It absolutely did. It taught me how to get prepared, how to present, how to deliver.
Organize is a big thing.
Being organized is organize your thoughts. You can talk all day long, but if you don't organize your thought, you're just rambling. Exactly.
You don't get that message across.
Exactly. So yes, very helpful.
And I understand you have a mentor.
I do. I am a lucky person. Not only is he a Toastmaster, but he's a professional speaker. So I get two bonuses there. And having a mentor is very helpful because they give you tips on how to enhance your speech, knowing who you are, not injecting their personality, but working with your own personality and giving you tips around that. So it's been very powerful to have someone like him.
And not everybody knows that you have that opportunity to have a mentor like that.
That's huge. Our club is actually working on that with our new members to make sure that they have a mentor, because it's very important to know someone's there that you can bounce ideas off of.
Right. So in addition to your evaluation, you have that advantage. Now, you're going to be speaking from an advanced manual.
Yes.
Yes.
After I finished with the first competent communicator, now I'm going to push myself again and be out there and go to the next level.
Great. So are you ready to give your speech?
I am.
Okay, because I'm going to explain to our audience about these manual speeches.
Great.
Okay. I look forward to hearing it.
Great.
The Toastmasters program consists of a variety of speech manuals, and each manual consists of 5 to 10 speeches, and each speech has its own set of objectives. And back with me is Trich Gray, who's going to evaluate Sharon's speech tonight, and she's going to go over what her objectives are. Welcome back, Trich.
Thank you. Sharon is speaking from the Entertaining Speaker Advanced Manual. This is project number 1, the entertaining speech. Her objectives are to entertain the audience by relating a personal experience, and then organize an entertaining speech for maximum impact.
Great. Well, this will be a fun one to listen to. I'd like to present our first guest speaker, Sharon Brown with Instincts.
I know some of you sleep with someone or have slept with someone who snores. I don't know about you, but this is the closest time I come to wanting to smother my husband. Can you relate? Or is it just me? Fellow Toastmasters and sleepless guests, I have searched high and low trying to find the answer to my husband's snoring. I read this magazine. It said if he would put this t-shirt on, it would keep him from rolling over on his back, and he'd stop snoring. What the article didn't tell me was how to get him to put it on He won't do it. I tell you, the first thing I try to do with this technique is when my husband starts snoring, I will reach over and give him a little tap, tap, tap right here on the forehead. He'll roll over and I can get back to sleep. Why do I feel this way? Instincts. Our prehistoric DNA says that when we feel scared or threatened, our instinct is to fight. Just think about it. You're back in prehistoric times. You and the family are in the cave, just kicking back, just chilling. When all of a sudden in the dead of night, you jump into action. You run over to the cave wall, you grab the spear, and you get ready to fight. After all, you have to protect yourself and your family from being eaten alive. But what do if you have to share a room with a friend or family member? You can't swat them. My husband was asleep, and I reverted back to my instincts. He startled me awake, and I swung my hand over and swatted him instead of tapping him on the forehead. Oops. Don't hit me. I tapped you and stopped snoring. He's lucky I didn't get the spear. I went on a day trip with my cousin Claudia. We have so much in common. The thing is when our instincts kick in and we were with someone that we're traveling with, we can't swat them. I'd love to do that. So Claudia and I had a wonderful day of discovery. We're kicking back in the bed, sipping wine like two sisters, laughing and talking till we fell asleep. In the dead of night, my eyes popped open. I was startled. The noise was so loud, I didn't know what was happening. Finally, I realized, Claudia. I had to nudge her, couldn't swat her. Claudia, you're snoring. She rolled over and I finally fell asleep again. This went on and on all night long until the wee hours. I was on the verge of hysteria. I stumbled out of bed. I was looking for something, anything. No, not a spear. Something to sleep on. I had to flee. After all, our instincts say when we feel threatened or scared, we either fight or we flee. Fight or flight. I took cushions off the bed. I took blankets out of the closet because I had to find some place to sleep. I had to get out of there. I finally found my place to sleep in this ginormous bathtub. The bathroom was huge. Tile floors, tile walls. It looked like a cavernous cave. I went over and I shut the huge wooden door. My instinct said, lock the door. I locked it. She'd have to use the bathroom outside. Finally, I climbed into the bathtub bed and I wrapped the blankets around my head and I fell into a deep, deep, peaceful sleep.
She's pretty good at that.
She was, she was. Now that was an entertaining speech.
That was.
I think she met her objectives. And if I look at what I think helped her meet those objectives is, first of all, was her subject. It should be from a personal experience, but this was one I think we could all relate to.
Right.
Yeah, I think we all kind of know what she's
So
talking
that
about.
instantly connects us to the speaker.
Yeah, yeah. And she had lots of visual aids and the vocal variety. She was using every trick she could pull out of that bag, to make it entertaining and to make it fun. That was very, very enjoyable.
It was very enjoyable. Now, when would you use a speech like this? This project is geared to what type of?
A lot of times you'll see an entertaining speech like this perhaps before a lunch or maybe a dinner where you're trying to get everyone in a relaxed mood. It's not heavy subject material. It's not necessarily laughing, although it can be, but this is more just to kind of get everyone in a nice, comfortable mood ready for the next part of the event.
Correct.
So, and I did have, if she wants to try something different, because I couldn't really think of anything that needed lots of improvement, if she wants to try something different, she had really great visual aids, really great sound effects. How about next time wearing pajamas? Really get into character.
There
Just a
you
thought.
go.
Just a
That's
thought.
a great idea. On television.
Now that would really be fun.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, Trish. Look forward to your next evaluation. So coming up next, you'll see an example of how to use vocal variety in helping to deliver your message. So don't go away, we'll be right back. That was good.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease
Freedom
like this,
requires leadership, and leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
Welcome back to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. Our next guest speaker has taken Toastmasters to a whole new level. He's a professional speaker and author and co-founder of several specialty clubs. So please help me welcome Craig Harrison. Welcome, Craig.
Hi, nice to be here.
So explain to us what a specialty club is.
Unlike a normal club, this club focuses on one topic. It could be humor, professional speaking, storytelling, parliamentary procedure, but that's its focus. They eschew some of the usual things that happen in a club. They may only meet once a month, but they drill deep. And oftentimes it's a little more advanced and higher caliber and faster paced.
Like what kind of topic or what kind of specialty?
Well, Laugh Lovers, for instance, teaches you how to take existing speeches that you know how to create and deliver, but add more humor to them, how to think funnier, how to deliver funnier, how to add funnier lines to existing material.
Anything else other than comedy?
Sure. Well, it's not just laughs. It's true that we don't count ums and ahs, we count ha-has, but it's also about audience dynamics and connecting, telling good stories, things of that sort.
So if you're not a comedian, is there another specialty club that you can take part in?
What a great question. District 57 is blessed to have numerous specialty clubs, everything from how to compete in contests to leadership to other topics as well, and they're spread out throughout the district. So consult the d57tm.org website and you can find them all.
All right. Do you have to belong to a home club in order to be in a specialty club?
Every club is different, but many specialty clubs prefer that you have a home club to practice and to stay fresh and to give regular speeches, and then you specialize with the specialty club.
Oh, okay. So I have a question for you. You've written 3 books. What came first, the writing or the speaking?
Well, it's funny. The speaking came first, and the writing came out of the speaking, but some people have suggested that I'm a better writer than a speaker, so I think I need more time in more clubs.
So read more books like this.
Or something like that, yeah.
Well, great. Well, I look forward to your speech. You're actually going back to one of the basic speeches.
I do it every year.
Speech projects,
I believe just like rereading the Bible, we can reread our basic manual every year and complete it.
Great.
I think we all should.
Great. Well, I look forward to hearing your speech. Are you ready to give it?
I am ready.
All right. Thank you. Now, if you have a fear of public speaking, Don't be afraid. There are thousands of Toastmaster clubs around the world, and we'll be giving you that website later on in the show. And back with me now to evaluate Craig's speech and to go over his objectives is Trich Gray. Welcome, Trich.
Hello. Craig is working, as you said, from the Competent Communicator Manual. This is speech number 6, vocal variety. His objectives are to use voice volume, pitch, rate, and quality to add meaning and interest to your message, use pauses to enhance your message, and then use vocal variety smoothly and naturally.
Great. Well, look forward to your evaluation, Trish. Thank you. I'd like to welcome and present our second guest speaker, Craig Harrison, with Hearing Voices in Search of Vocal Variety.
Toastmasters around the world know the value of vocal variety. Yet in my 21 years of listening to speeches, rarely have I heard Toastmasters really push the envelope, really use deep vocal variety, whether it's in the vocal variety speech in the basic manual or in other presentations. Tonight, I want to share some ideas for how you, in your next vocal variety speech or any speech that you give, can add more vocal variety for the benefit of all. The first tip is to consider telling stories within your speech, or perhaps the entire speech is a story. You see, stories have characters, and as such, every character can have a different voice. You can have a high voice, a low voice, a young voice, an old voice. And the beauty of that is that you don't have to say, he said this, and then she said that. The voices do it all. Consider telling a story. Perhaps a variation of this theme is to make a puppet show out of it. Perhaps you've got finger puppets. Perhaps you've got hand puppets. I often think of Mr. Bill from the old Saturday Night Live. Oh no, I'm about to get swallowed by the paper. Puppet shows are another way to employ more vocal variety. Now, with the holidays upon us, one of the great things you can do in your next speech is to take us back to a favorite Thanksgiving or a favorite Christmas time or holiday scene where you've got multi-generational gatherings at hand. If you think about it, you've got the kids and their voices. You've got your own voices and those of your siblings. Perhaps your parents or your grandparents who might have a tinge of an accent from the old country. If you just give us dialogue and describe what it was like under the tree or at the dinner table, scenes like this are ready-made for vocal variety. Now, another tip is that you can take a trip, or rather take us on a trip. Think about a trip you may have taken overseas and the different accents you may have heard, or simply hanging out in the international terminal of your local airport. Think about all the different voices, the different sounds, the different dialects that one hears. In a situation like that, it's ready-made for vocal variety. Now, if you've ever gone to Hawaii, our own melting pot here in the United States, a story from the Hawaiian Islands of your most recent vacation, chances are is going to be rich in vocal variety. Because think about it, there are Chinese and Japanese and Filipinos and Portuguese, and there are the missionaries and the tourists, and everybody has a different accent. Another alternative is simply to go to the United Nations. Maybe you've been, or maybe you take us on a fictitious trip to the UN. But tell us about the dialects that you've heard. Tell us about the interactions with the different delegates. It's pretty exciting. Now you may be saying, I'm not comfortable making up voices for human beings. Okay, here's a thought. What about the animal kingdom? Perhaps in your next speech, you tell us a story about dogs and cats, or tigers and lions, or birds and bees, or perhaps even a parakeet with an attitude, parroting everything that is being said by the rest of us in the office. Think about the opportunities for vocal variety in an environment like that. So again, the animal kingdom, and whether you anthropomorphize, giving human qualities to the animals, or simply make the sounds the animals make, it's a great opportunity for vocal variety. Now, there are many events that you've attended that would make great subjects for your speeches. Think about a networking event where you recently attended, and there were different job seekers, and there was that pushy, boastful salesperson, and then there was that timid, recent graduate, and then the soft talker, just like out of Seinfeld, that person that whispered and perhaps lacked the Toastmasters' confidence. Another scene might be at the flea market, the different people you encountered, the different characters that you interacted with. Something I like to share in story form is backstage or behind the scenes, or for instance, when the lights go down at the movie theater. Take us through all the different sounds that you hear in the movie theater, the people kibitzing, the lovers canoodling in the back row. And if you're in my neighborhood, a lot of people talk to the screen. Sometimes that dialogue is better than the dialogue in the film. Take us through what that's like. It's really exciting. Another tip that I find works really well when you're looking for more vocal variety is to give us a compare and contrast. If you like opera, consider teaching us the difference between the three tenors and how to recognize their voices. Or perhaps you take us through the difference between the East Coast rappers and the West Coast rappers. Or take us through the different histrionics of the politicians from different political parties or from different states. A couple of other ideas I have for you. If nothing else, you can certainly do a dramatic reading. You say, what? You don't want to do Shakespeare? No worries. I've actually seen somebody take the phone book, the white pages, thumb through it, pick a random page, and start to take names and numbers and give them a treatment, give them emotion, read it as dramatically as a Shakespearean actor. You too can do this. There's something I'm looking forward to do with a future partner of mine, the colleague Tyree Johnson, past district governor. I've always liked this scene in Pulp Fiction where John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson are discussing the benefits of Amsterdam and the Big Mac, and the Royale with cheese. And so I hope at some point I can come back on TV with him and deliver that. In closing, I simply want to say that if variety is the spice of life, certainly in Toastmasters, vocal variety is going to spice up your presentations. I so look forward to being in your audience the next time you break loose with snoring, speaking, singing, but whatever it is, may it have vocal variety.
Great.
Oh, wow. That was a lot of tips. I wrote down and I got to
Great takeaway.
Yeah. I got to like number 10 and there may have been a couple that I missed. So yeah, I think this is the kind of speech that's probably not a bad idea to go back and replay it ever so often to remind yourself, because, you know, who would have thought of, you know, for example, animal sounds, or pretend that you went to the United Nations, or I like the family gathering and, you know, you've got the built-in, you know, the kids with the higher voice and the parents and then the grandparents from the old country with whatever accent. And I thought that was some really great tips, things that, you know, I had perhaps not really thought about. And, or the dramatic reading. There's actually a whole manual about interpretive reading, and I think a lot of that feeds into it because you've got several characters and you have to make them sound different. So I think I'm going to have to take some of these tips back with me and add them to my next speech.
I think so. I'm going to be watching this video again. Now, I like the way he organized it. It's just went tip to tip to tip, and that's a great way to get a lot of information quickly.
Yes, yes. It ended up being a very informative speech.
Right.
Now, if I were to perhaps make a suggestion to think about doing something a little bit differently next time, he gave us one example that was very clear to me, which is, you know, the Mr. Bell. Yeah. I remember Mr. Bell. It's about the only voice I can do is Mr. Bell. Oh, no, Mr. Bell. It would have been nice maybe to perhaps hear another, for example, the grandparent from the old country, or a sound that an animal makes. You know, maybe just throw in, you know, real short, not long, just, you know, one couple words of that particular sound that he was describing. That might just kind of put it way over the top if he wants to try something different next time.
But it's hard to critique a professional speaker. He's got it down.
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Well, thank you so much, Trish. And look forward to working with you again.
Great.
All right.
It's been fun.
We have to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be right back.
Name an effective political leader in history who couldn't speak well.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
There aren't any.
Because when it comes to a disease,
Freedom requires leadership, and leadership requires oratory. You have to speak to be heard.
I have a dream.
It's all about personal growth and guts.
Never give in. Never, never, never.
Welcome back to Toastmaster Time, the show that has everybody talking. Well, we heard two wonderful speeches tonight. Let's kind of go over a little bit about what we heard.
Well, why don't we focus on vocal variety, because Sharon's speech had a lot of vocal variety in there. Some of it she was doing with her little sound effect with the snoring.
That's right.
There are many ways to add vocal variety to your speech. And when she did a little bit of dialogue with her husband. So it's nice to see how you can add the vocal variety into your speech, and how, as Craig says, it does spice it up, makes it more interesting, makes you feel like you're more in character with the actual story itself.
Well, I learned something very interesting. Sharon's mentor is Craig.
Well, what a surprise that she would actually know how to incorporate some of that vocal variety then.
So
oh, okay.
All that really works.
That makes sense. It all ties in together now. I can understand. And I love the tips that Craig gave us. So I would, just as a takeaway, would recommend that maybe pick one, and next time you go into a speech, purposely, okay, let's see how I can add that into my speech. A little homework here.
Right. I thought they both were entertaining. Craig as well. He gave us a lot of good information, entertaining.
And like, for example, I could see Sharon giving her speech as a lead-in to maybe, even say maybe a Toastmasters dinner. We do an awards banquet dinner every year. See, that would be a good use of her type of speech to kind of get the crowd going in a good mood, kind of pump them up a little bit. All right, so Sharon, you got that down? We'll send your name off to District 57 as the lead-in speaker to the installation dinner next spring,
yes,
maybe.
I'm writing that down. Well, thank you.
But she's got to wear pajamas.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, thank you so much, Trish. It was wonderful working with you again.
It's nice to see you again.
Yes. If you live in the Bay Area, or you plan to visit sometime soon and you'd like to visit us here at Toastmaster Time, you can visit and contact us through our website at toastmastertime.com. Or if you'd like to find out about some of the activities that are offered through Toastmasters, you can go to our district website, and that's d57tm.org. Or if you'd like to find a Toastmasters club in your area, like I said, they're all around the world. You can go to our Toastmasters International site, and that's toastmasters.org. Well, that's our show for tonight. I'd like to thank our guest speakers, Sharon Brown and Craig Harrison, our evaluator, Trich Gray, and our wonderful crew here at the Media Center in Palo Alto. From all of us here at Toastmaster Time, I'm Karen Owoc, inviting you to speak up and join Toastmasters.